This is a question for Paul Hughes. Calgary has an obscene number of homeless people. Why is Calgary housing so unaffordable, and what would you do to address the issue?
Affordable housing is certainly a very important issue. One of the things I do is the secondary suite application process is very inefficient. And then last morning, Craig Burrows talked about an older elderly lady that basically broke down in front of council. I mean, if I was on council at that time, I would have shut it down right now. They didn't deal with that at all, and I don't think I'm not very happy with that. As far as affordable housing, we have to improve the zoning issue for all communities. We have to get rid of NIMBYism. That's one thing that's got to out the door ASAP. We have to also create mentoring opportunities between successful families and growing families. We have that capacity in the city to reach out and be very, very passionate about our fellow citizens. And I think we have to look at some of the innovations in construction. We're pretty addicted to building a certain way in the city, and I think that there's a lot of different ways that we can start building homes that are a lot more affordable. One of them happens to be sea containers. If you Google sea containers and some of the innovations there, pretty amazing. Thank you.
This is a question for Rick McIver. For Rick. Traffic and transportation in the ring road are the biggest concerns for Calgarians. How do you plan to alleviate the problem?
Well, traffic, transportation, short term, we need to work with the province and get that southwest leg of the ring road completed. We all know that a C-shaped road is non-functional. If you make a ring out of it, then suddenly it becomes functional. Now, we need, as mayor, I intend to use the good relationship that I have with the leaders of all three of the major political parties in Alberta to work with them to get that done. Other things that we need to do deal with traffic. There's a lot of short-term things, but I want to talk for a second about the long-term thing. I want to talk about building complete communities, because that's how we're going to solve the problem long-term. And I think you want a mayor that is actually looking for long-term solutions. The bottom line is, if we build complete communities, that is how we will long-term catch up with the traffic situation. What I mean by that is, if we get more people living downtown, there's over 100,000 jobs downtown. If we get another 10 or 20,000 people living downtown, a lot of those, we hope, the people that take those homes will perhaps go to those jobs, and it will require less other people to stuff themselves onto the roads and the transit systems to get there, because there will be more people closer by to walk, cycle, or even have a shorter transit ride. In the suburbs, we need to get jobs in the suburbs. What realities about Calgary? It's a great question, because what we know about Calgary is most people live on the west side of the city, and most of the jobs are on the east side of the city. The three major job centers in Calgary are at the airport, downtown, and the Southeast Industrial Park. We also know that the worst transportation links in the city are from east to west. Big problem. What if, under my council, we found opportunities to have light industrial and office jobs in the west side of the city? And I can tell you now 3 examples of where councils weakened and planning departments weakened in the past and didn't do that. And they're all shopping centers today. Oh, wonderful shopping centers, but they should include jobs. Shaughnessy, West Hills, and Crowfoot. In the future, with me as mayor, when those opportunities come up, we'll get some jobs.
1 minute's over.
We'll get jobs on the other side of the city, and that's how we'll solve the long-term problem, which is what I'm interested in. Thank you.
I'm going to be the bad cop and say, let's all stick to the 1-minute rule, please.
Mr. Stewart, how will you bring cohesion to the council process?
We simply must get the council working as a team. And I've had considerable experience bringing people who don't agree, and sometimes people who don't even like each other together working towards a common purpose. I believe if the vision is inspiring enough, people will work together towards the long-range goal. So that's what I would do. Start by looking at priorities, shifting priorities if we need to do that so that we're considering the long-term impacts of all the things we do, develop a vision that's inspiring, and charge the council with working towards the common good for the city as a whole. Thank you.
What are you planning to do to make Calgary a safer place to live, and please be specific?
Well, thank you very much for the question, and it's very easy to me to answer that one. As I alluded to earlier, I'm a victim of crime, and I know how it.
Not sure it's working.
Is this better?
Hold the mic close to your mouth. Yeah.
Hello? Does that work?
No.
As I alluded to earlier, I'm a victim of crime, and I know how crime can interrupt both an individual's life as well as a family's life. And there is no ability to enjoy one's community if they don't feel safe. That's why I'm committed to putting 500 more police officers on the street in the next 6 years. And here's why. Right now, Calgary has some of the fewest police officers per capita of any major center in Canada. That's not right, okay? Our citizens deserve to feel as safe as anyone else's citizens. Our citizens deserve the protection of the police officers as much as anyone else. And I will fight for that, I will commit to that, and I will ensure that the provincial government follows through on their promises to work with the city in rectifying what has so far been a shortfall of police officers on Calgary streets. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kazan, you mentioned at another time that you will privatize Calgary Parking Authority. Will that not increase parking costs?
No, it will not increase parking costs. There's not been a single park being built in Calgary in decades. We need competition. Competition brings down prices. The parking spots that are owned by Calgary Parking Authority are inefficiently managed, and if it were privatized, you'd get people working 24/7 making it work. So it will not increase competition, only reduces prices. That's been my experience, and Calgary Parking Authority claims that they have the best technology and the best tools to make parking convenient. Every Calgarian I've talked to hates the current system, hates the new machines, and by privatization of the parking lots will reduce prices.
Okay, this question for Bob Hawksworth and all existing alderpersons. What did you do to stop the massive shortfall that is projected for next year? With the large budget deficit cuts will have to take place in a city where tax increases seem to be taboo. How would you deal with the deficit without cutting parks funding, arts programs, planets, or any other initiative?
Right. There's one thing from the previous question I just do think it's important to know, and I apologize for going back. I don't know if people understand that the original alignment for the West LRT was approved by City Council in the mid-1980s, before David Bronconnier was ever elected either as an alderman or as mayor. There was something implied in that question at the last that I think needed to be addressed. I apologize I didn't do it at the time, but there was nothing that had anything to do with Mayor Bronconnier and any land he owned that had to do with the establishment of that functional study and alignment for West LRT. So, sorry, that's an important point that I just wanted to clarify. The City Council is not able to run a deficit budget. Every year, our operating budget has to be in balance. For 2010,
our operating budget is balanced. What we're talking about is 2011, the third year of our three-year budget, and the assumptions that City Council made in establishing that budget are changing as they do each year. And in November, City Council is going to take a look at what were some of the unforeseen changes to the budget and make adjustments as required. For example, the assumptions around how much the city would collect for the sale of natural gas and electricity. Those prices have dropped. The revenue the city gets is based on the price of natural gas and electricity. So the assumptions are changing, and